Hey, 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 how you doing? It is day 2 of our free virtual paint party, and it is bonus tutorial number 1. It has been a surprise of what we were going to be painting, and now the surprise is over. We are going to be painting an attachment that coordinates with our door hanger that we painted a couple of days ago. If you missed that tutorial, just put the word birdhouse down, even though this is not a birdhouse. That doesn't even seem right. That's going to mess up my brain the whole time. Let's switch that up. Put the word house down in the comment because it's a house, it's not birdhouse. Put the word house down in the comments and I'll come back and I'll link the first day of this tutorial so you don't have to go searching for it. And I'll also link anything important that we talk about today and as well. So if we talk about colors, if we talk about where you can get the design, where all the things. So put the word house down in the comments. And if you are catching the replay, make sure you put that hashtag replay to let me know that you came to hang out with us after hours. I always love hearing and seeing you in the comments. Even though I may not be live, I always come back and keep the comments going. If you ask questions, I answer those questions. I just like to show y'all some love, even if you're not here with us live. Okay, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. We got to base coat this thing white. So while everybody hops on, let's go ahead and do the boring thing, okay? Let's base coat this thing white. Y'all, don't forget to put that hashtag replay in the comments if you're catching that replay. Hashtag. All right, so we are going to be base coating this white. It's going to coordinate with what we painted the other day, okay? So this is going to be kind of a matching set without being super matchy-matchy, okay? So let's grab something to kind of give me a backer. There's with these smaller pieces, it kind of drives me crazy to get like the outline on my background. Am I the only one that it kind of drives crazy? Okay, white paint. Don't care what white paint you use. They all kind of have their quirks to them. Just use whatever you've got. I've got a plethora of white paint. So I'm just using what I got. I refuse to buy white paint until I go through what I have. That was one of my promises to myself this year, is that I will not buy unnecessary paint till I go through what I have. And white was one of the colors that I'm pretty much made a pact with myself. No white paint until it's all gone. And I think I'm down to the last 2 large bottles. And this one's about halfway done. It's about halfway done. So I'm not really loyal to any one particular white paint. I do like Deco Arts and I do like Apple Barrels. Hey, Roxana. Hey, Jacqueline. How y'all doing? We are just base coating this white. I just saw Roxana's comment. I'm using, okay, if y'all can't figure it out yet, I'm doing Spanish numbers. I'm using my little bit of Spanish knowledge in the description of each video, because when you put a number in the description, Facebook like doesn't like it. So I'm testing something out and I'm putting uno, dos, tres. My very, very limited Spanish. I took 4 years of French, so I have very, very little Spanish knowledge, but I can count to 10. So there's that. I see that Roxanne put hola. It made me giggle. All right, I'm just base coating it white because we're using some really pastels. Hey, Darlene. Hey, Sheila. Hey, Pam. All right, so it is bonus tutorial number 1. Project number 2 of our virtual paint party. You can get the free template to the door hanger by putting the word house down in the comments. And if you would like to get information on where this right here is available, it is available to my Paint Studio members. I love my Paint Studio and I like to give them gifts every month, whether it be a bonus tutorial, bonus templates, bonus tips and tricks, all the things. And this right here, although you are getting the tutorial as a bonus, they are getting not only the tutorial, but they are also getting all the extra files of everything we paint for the rest of the week. So if that is one of the biggest perks of being in my Paint Studio, is that if I do a freebie, they get it first. And a lot of times they get it exclusively. So like I said, put the word house down in the comments and you will get not only the information on everything that we're doing, where you can get this template and this design for free, but where this is going to be housed as well. Like I said, it's for my paint studio, but I am opening that paint studio up for new family members. We like to call ourselves a family this week. So, and don't be bummed. So I'm like, oh goodness, I won't be able to make this. Don't be bummed. You have an opportunity to get access to. So, hey, Carlene and Darlene. Oh, I got Carlene and Darlene. Y'all are back to back, and I love alliteration. I love some rhyming. All right, so we've got a nice little base coat of white. I'm just making sure it is completely dry before I move on. Remember, completely dry, then reapply. Now, granted, I'm not doing a second coat of white. Hey, Gina, my little friend from the north, just north of me. She's from Arkansas. I'm in Louisiana. If y'all haven't met me formally, I know a lot of you are my ride or dies. Y'all have been with me for a while, right? But there's some new people. We've had a lot of new people jump on in the last year. If y'all don't know, I'm from Louisiana. I'm very proud of it. I love my home state. I love being from the boot of the U.S. Can't have a firm foundation without 2 strong feet. We got at least one. We've got Louisiana. All right, so here we go. We're going to go ahead and bust out the painter's tape. Like I said, this is going to be not matchy-matchy, but it is going to coordinate, okay? So they're all going to look like they kind of go together. So we're going to go ahead and bust out the painter's tape. The difference between this one and that one is, remember how we had to work to make our tape work for us? We don't have to do that with this one. Please, Lord, be enough tape. Be enough tape. I really kind of eyeballed it, and I was like, that's going to be just enough. I'm going to do itty bitty little spacers. I'm really trying to stretch this tape as far as it'll go. I think it will be enough. I think it'll be just enough. I think we will be coming up on the bare end of this roll of tape. And this is nothing special. This is Dollar Tree tape. It's my preferred tape. And not because it's the best, not because it performs the greatest. I've just learned to deal with it and not expect perfection from any tape, because I refuse to pay high dollar for painter's tape. I know frog tape does great. I know some people swear by the green frog tape, but I go to Dollar Tree way more often than I do the big Walmart in my town, and that's where I can get the frog tape, is the big Walmart. Hey, Christy Rayner, how are you doing? So like I said, if you put the word house, because this is a house, it's not to be confused with a birdhouse. I love designing on a birdhouse. That is one of my favorite bases to design on. But this is a house. This is supposed to, like, when I designed this, this is perfect. Perfect. I don't even need another piece. Look at that, y'all. We are down to the nitty gritty of that painter's tape. The nitty gritty. Okay. Done with the painter's tape. We're going to put it away. We're going to press down. Oh, my ring made a little scratchy scratch. I might have to take my ring off. Have y'all seen my ring? I don't think I've introduced you to my new ring. This is a spoon. It's a spoon. How cool is that? Hey, Heather. So this is a spoon. It has magnolias. If you can't tell, I love magnolias. It has magnolias in it, and I want to say it is definitely over 100 years old. So I follow this lady on TikTok, and she takes vintage spoons. And I know this is not a new concept. I've seen them for years and years and years. But the fact that when I ordered it from her, she gives you the history on the spoon. Isn't it cool? But it is heavy. But I love wearing it because it kind of balances me, because I carry my phone in my left hand. And so it kind of gives me balance because it's heavy. Okay, let's get into painting. Okay, so you know me, I like to dissect. Hey, Lynn, I love spoon rings. It's so pretty. I know, I love spoon rings. I just noticed that people take butter knives and make necklaces, and I was like, the creativity of some people, it's just, I would never thought to do that. I've seen it over the years at antique shops and stuff like that. Never thought once, let's make that into a ring. Let's just make that. Spoons are beautiful. There are some really beautiful decorative spoons that would make absolutely gorgeous rings. And now I'm a little obsessed with like looking at her website because I just appreciate the art in it. All right, so I've got my old trusty. Okay, this is just a folk art. I've had this for years. This is probably one of my very first brushes I ever bought for Wallace House Designs. Okay, I've had many of them over the years, but this thing has been through so many paint parties. If it could tell some stories, it knows some more stories, y'all. That's straight from the bottle. Okay, I'm just making sure it was straight from the bottle, or if we ghosted it out. So we're gonna take some Poodle Skirt Pink, my favorite baby pink. If you can't find Poodle Skirt Pink, hey Dana, oh, she's on her lunch break. Dana, I need you to give me some ideas. Dana works for a nursery, not a baby nursery. She works for a agriculture nursery. I had to pull my roses from my front yard. They got the dreaded, what is it called? Rose rosette. Is that what it's called? They got the dreaded rose rosette. So I can't put roses back in the front yard. From what I understand, once your yard is contaminated with rose rosette, I can put roses in the backyard, which I am, but I can't put them in the front yard anymore for a good long while because it's something that lives in the ground, and it's not actually the flower itself that got the disease. The ground got the disease. And so I need some ideas on what I can plant there in my front flower bed, like as far as like something big and showy. Like I like to have like a pop of color. I had some knockout roses, not my favorite roses. I love roses, but knockouts are just, everyone has them in my neighborhood, and I like to be different. But it was my knockouts that got rose rosette. So I was like, I mean, am I heartbroken? No, because it was just my knockouts. And I was like, okay, we'll survive. We'll just find something pretty to put there this spring. And now spring's here. Now I've got to figure out what to put there. Hey, Sheila, what are we painting? We're painting. Let me show y'all. We're painting a house. Now, this is a very versatile design. You can paint it with or without the heart. What I had in mind for this was my house number on my house is not prominent. Do y'all see that? I did something. Oh, do y'all see that? That's kind of cool. That's new. I've never noticed that. Oh, it's like I swatted it away. I'm going to get distracted with some ADHD popping bubbles over here. I figured like this would be a really fun way to be able to put a house number on your house without it being boring, for lack of better words. So you can paint it with or without the heart. The heart, I felt like you could put the numbers in the heart, or you could put it, you could just leave it as is, or you could take the heart off and put your house numbers on it. How fun would that be? Yeah, give me some ideas. I have crepe myrtles, like little dwarf crepe myrtles in the back, and I've been thinking about those. I was like, maybe I could put some fun little small crepe myrtles up front. They go in front of Raylan's room. Raylan has big windows in her bedroom. So we like to have something there at least to block, just kind of give her a little bit of shade. So that's why I was thinking maybe some crepe myrtles, but nothing that's going to get too massive because it is like right up against my house. Sorry, y'all don't care about that. That's just a little side note for me and Dana. Anytime I see Dana, I've been meaning, I gotta text her. So I've got my chip brush, okay, and I dipped it in white paint, and I tapped about 99% of that white paint off. Hey, Cheryl. And now I'm going to just, with light pressure, think of sweeping your floors, okay? You don't sweep your floors by bending the bristles. Like if your bristles of your broom bend whenever you're sweeping, you're not sweeping the floors, right? You are abusing the floors, and we don't do that, right? Well, we're not going to abuse our project. We're going to lightly sweep this paint over, okay? And we're going to start off the project. Like I'm starting over here about 1/4 of an inch off. And I'm just just lightly sweeping it over, okay? Now, I've got a little something extra on that. Now we're going to go from the other side, only because it gets really heavy on the sides, which is the way I like it. we want this side to be balanced. Okay. So if you notice, I came back from this side and I just swept across from that side. We're going to do that for every pink stripe. If you notice, I left my painter's tape down, and that was for good reason. Just to keep my distress ink inside the pink. Even though my base coat is white, it would not have bothered it, not one bit. My base coat is white, but I really want my white to be nice and pristine. I love how you explain the steps. It sticks in my busy brain. Girl, I got ADHD and I don't medicate it. So that, I mean, I think I do it more for myself than anybody else. I was like, oh, did I say that already? I don't think I did. If I didn't, for good measure, I think that's why I do it. I have been trying to figure out, why do I do things the way that I do? And I truly believe it's the ADHD. I do. I really do. I've lived my whole life with it and never been medicated. So I feel like I've just like acclimated to it. In my brain, am I the only one that does this when I'm physically doing a task? Even though I'm not saying it out loud, I'll say it. I was like, okay, first we're going to do this. And then while we're doing this, we're probably going to go start a load of laundry. And then after that load of laundry, let's make sure that we set this thing out for dinner. Okay. So it can you just have a running bullet point list in your head. It may just be me, but that's how it works for me. Okay. So easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? No stress. Ta-da! Look how pretty. I just love how the stark whiteness contrasts from our distress pink. It gives texture without it being textured. Our garden club has a program on roses by LSU. Oh, she said North Louisiana had that. Yes, it did. And bless it, I drive through my neighborhood too, and all I want to do is go knock on doors. I'm like, your poor rose is dead. You need to pull it. I was like, I'm sorry. We'll hold a memorial for it, but you need to go pull that thing. It is not coming back. But it is so it's just such a weird flower disease. It's so weird. Because the flower, the bush looks like it's thriving. I was so proud of it. I was like, I don't know what I did to it last what is that word? What is the word that I'm looking for? Last season, I was just looking at this one particular rose bush out front, and I was like, ooh, I don't know what I did, but I did something good. It is thriving. No, girl, it had a disease. And then right after Valentine's Day, which is when I tend to my roses leading up to spring. Hey, Wanda. When I tend to my roses leading up to spring, I just went ahead and pulled them. I was like, we're going to have to take these out anyways. Okay, so we're going to take our light pastel green, and we're going to do a quick little base coat. You can do this either way. You could do the medium green that I'm about to use first, or you could do the pastel green. Sometimes these pastel colors have a little better coverage. So I'm going to do this one first. If I was doing a leaf, kind of like with our door hanger the other day, that matches this one. Again, if you missed that, put the word house down in the comments, and I'll come back after the live. I'll link this tutorial and where you can get the free template for that one. And if you want to order blanks, it'll also come with the link to be able to order a blank as well. I painted a 20-inch with that one. And this right here is a 10-inch attachment size. This is a 10-inch attachment size. Okay, so here we go. I'm just being very careful to stay within my lines. Okay. But yeah, I pulled it, and had me a little memorial service as I threw it in. And I didn't want anybody thinking, oh, free flowers on the side of the road, because I did not want that thing spreading any further. So, and they say don't burn those particular bushes because it can go airborne. So I chopped it up real small. and put it in the bottom of our large trash can so that it went to the landfill. Hopefully no one else will suffer the devastation of that particular flower disease. I was so sad, but now I get to put something fun up there. I just can't put roses back in its spot. So what I plan to do is I love climbing roses. I plan on the side of my house, which is all brick. I plan to put some climbing roses there and just pray so hard that they survive, and that they don't get contaminated. And then I do have a spot in my backyard that I have roses. It's right outside my dining room window where I can just open the windows, and in the spring you just see nothing but blossoms, and it's so pretty. It brings me so much serotonin and so much dopamine. Let's see. Just catching up. All right, so far, let's recap. This is our let me get you a little closer. You are a little far away. We have our base coated white. We did some painter's tape, and in the void of the painter's tape, we did baby pink stripes. And once that was dry, we did some distressing with a chip brush over that. Now we are putting a base coat of a light green on top of that. And if you're wanting all the specific colors, put the word house down in the comments, and that will be linked with this free printable template. So all you have to do is download this free printable template, and you will get the supply list as well. You'll get a mock-up, you'll get the paint list, you'll get the brushes list, and then obviously you won't need this anymore, but you also get the time frame that we go live this week. We will be painting live one more time on Friday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. But I do plan tomorrow to pop back in and show you a bonus tutorial. It's another bonus tutorial. It'll be our third. I'm adding a third bonus tutorial to go along with this set. It's going to be so cute. The studio doesn't even know about it. My paint studio don't even know about it. They know what the bonus tutorials are. They already seen them. They got first access to it, right? And they have access to all the files. But they don't know what's coming for that third bonus, and I'm so excited. I cannot wait to surprise all of y'all with it. Okay, we're gonna blow dry that. Remember, completely dry, then reapply. Chrissy says, I kill artificial plants and flowers. My mom has a green thumb, but she didn't hand that down to me. So my mom's not a very green thumb person either. She can keep an ivy alive. And she has for 30 something. My dad passed away. My biological dad passed away when I was 3. I'm 36. So it's been 33 years, almost 34. In October, it'll be 34 that he had passed away. And at his funeral, there was an ivy that was gifted for his funeral. As you know, some people do flowers, but some people do plants. Hey, Marie. Someone had gifted an ivy. And so my mom had kept that thing alive up until this last year. When we had to go down to New Orleans for her surgery, we were there she was in the hospital for a solid month. And then after a month of being in the hospital, we went down to New Orleans. It was a month and a week. And then we spent 3 weeks down in New Orleans for her surgery and her rehab. And when we got back, all of her plants were dead. All but the snake plant. The snake plant survived. So if you have a green thumb, I highly recommend starting with snake plant. They are drought tolerant. They are happy in any light condition other than pitch blackness. Okay. I too am a house that plants come to perish. Y'all, I'm the crazy plant lady, okay? Of me, to be my friend on a regular basis, sometimes you have to endure my talk of plants. Like all of my friends locally here, we're all plant ladies. So it makes that's something that we bond over. So I'm so sorry. Like I promise you, there's a plant for you, and I swear there's a serotonin boost of keeping a plant alive. Like it just brings you so much joy to know I did that. You live because I came to water you on a regular basis. Look at me being responsible. All right, so we've dirtied our brush. All that means is that we put our base coat color on our brush. And now we're going to go in with a little bit of a medium green. So this is Hauser medium, but like I said, if you don't want to keep up with the exact colors that if you don't want to have to write them down or anything like that, put the word house down in the comments. And the free printable template comes with a supply list. It comes with a supply list, y'all. So you do not have to worry about keeping up with colors. So do you see the difference? See how this is called messy painting. This is what I call messy painting. There's multiple colors in that. I'm looking at my replay. If you're wondering why I'm not over here with you, I'm making sure that I have everything in the screen. Do you see where like there's some streaks of light green, there's some streaks of darker green, but nothing it's not a muddied all one brand new color. This is what I consider messy painting. Now, you can just mix this color and just make a completely new color, right? I like to have the variation of different colors. And all I do is I lightly, if you notice, my bristles are not bending to my wood. And I don't go over it too terribly much. I like to have, there we go. I like to have the transition of light. I like to have all the different colors in there. Actually, I did a succulent workshop back in March, and 75% of them are still alive. Marie, I'm so proud of you. She says, well, let me redeem myself just a little bit here. I actually forgot about them and found them in the basement. One looks questionable. I'm giving them water, sunshine, and prayer. Prayer fixes a lot. All right, so I've done one side. I'm going to come back over and do the other. That is hilarious. I give them sunshine, water, and just a little bit of prayer. I'm going to have to send that to my friends here. So I usually do a raised garden bed where half of it's cut flowers and the other half is food, like greens and vegetables and peppers and stuff, just to give me something to do outside, to force me to go outside, because I need sunshine. Okay. I do better when I get a little dose of natural vitamin D. So I usually have a small little garden in the back that forces me to go outside at least once every couple days, if not every day. And I did not do one last year. And thank God, God knew what he was doing when he told me, take a year off from doing that. That's when my mom got really sick. So I mean, thankfully I didn't have all this money invested in a garden and then me have to just let it go. But this year everything's looking a little, just a little calmer. So I did go ahead and order a new raised bed. I usually make my own wooden one, but my dog likes to tear them up. So I ordered a metal one this time, and I'm like, tear that up. See how that feels. So it should be here Friday. So this weekend, I should be putting together a metal raised bed. And it's a 12-foot bed. I've never had one that big. Normally, I have about an 8-foot bed. An 8-foot by 2 foot. This is 2 foot by 12 feet. So I have a whole extra 4 feet. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 4 feet of veggies, 4 feet of cut flowers, and 4 feet of more veggies. I'm going to like bookend my flowers, put my flowers in the middle. My plants go through mood swings just like the plant mom. It's kind of like when they say the baby can feel the mama's frustration. Your plants feel your frustration. I get that. I totally get that. So, all right. While we are painting live, y'all don't forget to hit that button over in the corner that broadcasts this into the rest of the interwebs to let everyone know that we're over here doing something super duper fun. Like I said, this is a bonus tutorial. It's a fun one. It's an easy one. It's one that if you're intimidated by this one, this will help you get your feet wet. So this is a much easier kind of like, if this was a step 3, this is definitely a step 1. This is a really easy one. I don't do good with flowers, but I have a ton of ivies in my office, but I have help taking care of them. So Dana, you're like, I just like looking at them. someone else helps me remind myself that, oh, they probably do need some water. They're looking a little drab. I was nervous going to New Orleans with my mom when it came to my plants, my house, the ones inside my house. My friends were even like, do we need to go over and water your plants? Does Graham even know that they need attention? I was like, he probably doesn't, but I could probably get my son to take care of them for me. And Hayden did. Hayden did a great job of making sure, like, Hayden knows my routine better than Graham knows my routine. Hey, Melissa. I love the succulents and money. I don't think I've ever seen a money tree in person. I've heard of them. I've seen pictures of them. See, I kill outside plants because I forget about them. I love being outside. I absolutely love it. I'll finish watching. Oh, your lunch break is over. You gotta go back to work. Bye, Dana. Oh, you have 2? Are they easy to take care of? Because I do have a rule for my house plants. I don't mind going outside and working my rear end off for my outside plants. My inside plants pretty much have to take care of themselves. Hey, Kim. Long time no see. Hey, how are you doing, my friend? It's very easy. Okay, so because that's what I have. Snake plants. I have one that I have living in water. Like, you know how you plant in a pot? Well, I have one snake plant that is hydroponic. It is just living in a vase of water, and it's actually doing better than all my other snake plants. And I'm like, I'm kind of wanting to unpot all my snake plants and just do the hydroponics over here. And it's so much easier. I only have to water like once a month, unless it's close to a window. Side note, I know y'all did not come here to talk plants, but if you get me talking about plants, you can't get me to stop. It's about as bad as painting for me. Doing great here, prepping for a craft show. Ooh, oh, it is getting to be that time, isn't it? It is craft show time. The spring is upon us. All right, so we're gonna put a medium blue. It's a pretty oceany medium blue. Like I said, if you want the entire paint list, just put the word house down in the comments, and the link to the free printable template here also comes with a supply list, and it has all the colors with swatches. All right, so let's go ahead and paint our heart because we're going to need to let it dry between coats. And while it dries, we can do our polka dots on our chimney. So this is a super easy design. It's honestly, if you're a beginner, it's perfect to dip your toe into the world of painting, and it has a little bit of shading in it, so you can even practice your shading without getting overwhelmed. But you can totally skip the shading part. Snake plants are they're the absolute easiest. I feel like an ivy, because I started off with an ivy, and I can't for the life of me keep an ivy alive. Now I have one that has. It's going, but for some reason it's the ivy that I tend to forget exists, and I forget to water it. Okay, there we go. Fill in the middle. Yeah, the snake plants I love them to the moon and back because they are a pop of color without being overwhelming, and they just grow vertically. Like they don't take up a whole lot of space if you don't want them to. They can take up as much space as you want. In the hospital that we stayed at in New Orleans, is it called a ZZ tree? Is it called a ZZ plant? They had a million. The entire hospital and hotel that we stayed at, because the hotel was attached to the hospital. The entire hospital and hotel was covered. Every empty spot had some form of display of ZZ plants and snake plants, and it was so calming to just walk the halls. You forgot that you were in a hospital. It really felt like a mall. Like it felt like a really nice cozy mall. I think I would do well with those air plants, the ones that live off of. My friend has one. I need to ask her how it's doing. It was doing fine around Thanksgiving, but I have not gotten an update since Thanksgiving. All right, so we're going to take our polka dot sponge. This is a small polka dot sponge. I'm going to dip it in the baby pink that we've been using. And I'm going to dip that in some white. Okay. And I'm just going to, let me show y'all what I'm doing. So I've got it and I'm just, all I'm doing is this is what I call priming your sponge. Okay. Let me get that. I do need a Post-it note that oh, there it is. I had to move them out of their normal spot because Raylan loves Post-it notes as much as I do. And I like to use a Post-it for small painter tape needs. Just small little barriers. Okay, so I'm going to put one right there. Just give it a quick corner turn. Like the hand of a clock going from noon to 3. Get you a little closer so you can see what I'm doing. Air plants are fun. Like I said, my friend Holly got one last season, and it did pretty well between the summer. She got it around the summer and Thanksgiving, but I have not heard an update. And a lot of times when we're watering her plant, when we talk, it reminds us, oh, I should probably go out and take care of my plants. And she has not said anything about it. And I'm kind of nervous. I'm kind of nervous for its existence. All right, so there we go. Make sure whenever you do polka dots, you make them venture off of the design. It just creates balance and helps your brain understand that that's just a pattern that lives on this shape. Again, a little bit of painter's tape. I'm going to just put the little peekaboo of right there. And then I like to get the super sticky Post-its for this purpose right here because they reapply pretty easily. I can use them a few times without it drying, them getting dried out on me. Ta-da! There's our polka dots. Let me back up so you can kind of see it. Sometimes that glare from that light blows them out, especially when they're kind of not as contrasty. Becca says, hey, Becca Boo. How are you doing, sweet girl? We're finished with this. So put it in the water. We're done. Let's see. Like I said, I think that my mom's snake plant was the only thing that survived while we were down in New Orleans too. Like all of I'm still devastated at the ivy that died from my dad's funeral. I'm still devastated about it. And I know she is too, because like I said, she's kept that thing alive for 33 years. And my dad, he was with us, like he was with us. So it's not like he could have watered them for her. All right, we're going to take a medium pink and we're going to start shading. We're finished with all the base coating. Let's get into the fun part, for me at least. And let's start shading. So I have an angle brush. And I'm going to dip the toe of my angle brush in a medium pink. And like I said, if you're wanting the whole color list, put the word house down in the comments. And I'll come back after the live is over and I'll link where you can get this free printable template. It comes with a supply list right here. It comes with all the colors, all the brushes that I used. And I'll also link where you can find this. It'll be a buffet of links. And that right there, that is the thing that really makes a difference whenever I'm shading. Some people like to use their paint water. And I feel like that's just witchcraft because there's like paint water should not work as well as it does for some people. I'm going to go up under the eavesment of this house. That's going to create a shadow. So I want to follow along with the natural shadow of it. Stand by. I'm getting choked up a little bit. I thought I was about to have a coughing fit. Okay. Here we go. We just want to keep things moving along and wet. If it's too crazy dark for you, all you have to do is keep it wet and move that paint. So you just move. It just, I don't know why it does that. It will switch back and forth. I'm sorry about that. I don't know if y'all saw that, but I did. That was kind of freaky. I don't know what happened. Nobody called. A lot of times when someone calls, it'll glitch, but nobody called. That is so weird. It did that the other day too. So I want you to look. Actually, let me finish. All right, that right there is with no water, okay? That right there, do you see how stark, how heavy that is? Spritz that with some water. Oh, we're really close. I'm sorry. We're about a 1/4 inch too close. My brush is hitting you. See how it just kind of spreads it out? It thins it out. Don't worry about getting it up here. I can clean that up. I'm not used to working that direction. I'm a directional painter. Okay, so I'm going to clean that up while we talk. Get a baby wipe. It is a little bit in my green, and I don't want it to be. Get a baby wipe and clean it up, just a hair. Here we go. Perfect. Here we go. All right. So I want you to see the difference between this side and this side. This has a little bit more dimension so far, and we're not even done yet. This has a little bit more dimension. This right here is flat. Okay. So I'm going to spray that just a little bit more. I'm trying to see if this blue is dry. I think it is. If it's not, we're about to find out. And all I'm doing is I'm just taking that wet paint and I'm just moving it. I'm just pushing it to where it just thins it out ever so slightly. If it's too heavy, you just push it. Just push it. Take the majority of the paint off your brush. Just push it. It'll thin it out. Now, if it's not heavy enough, let everything dry and reapply. It's a buildable technique. Because we're laying down such a thin layer of paint, instead of changing colors, what I recommend is that you let it completely dry and build the opacity, build the coverage. You're putting down a sheer layer of this really thick paint. And so if you just let it dry and reapply, it'll build that intensity. So say you go real conservative with it the first time and you're like, it's not enough. And then you go back in with that second coat and you're like, okay, so much better. It builds opacity for you. Can you please? I certainly will, Miss Debbie. I'll check it out for you. You're making me sing. Push it real good. Just push it along. It's the only time in your life where you're allowed to push something around. Push that paint around. The shading you did along the outside of the door hanger, I want to do it on everything. This one, that one, I know it just like, it's so soft, but noticeable. Yes, ma'am, Miss Debbie. I got you, boo. I got you. I will look at it later on today. I will take a peek. I will take a little gander at it. And like I said, here we go. And you see how that just, it's light pressure. It's not heavy, okay? Oops. It is not heavy at all. I'm going to take a little bit of pink. Like I said, if you're wanting to know what the exact colors, if you want to use the exact colors that I'm using, put that word house. The word house is the magic word of the day. And it will get you all the links to everything we talk about. It could be where you get this design for free, where you can order a blank. It will get you this also comes with the supply list for all the paint colors that you're going to need and the brushes and supplies that you need, like painter's tape and makeup sponges and anything that we use. Let's see. let's see, make sure I'm getting everything over here. It also, like we talked about the paint studio today, the paint studio is getting this design. Like we're all getting to enjoy the tutorial for free, but the paint studio has this design already loaded into their files. If you haven't heard of the paint studio, it is my amazing little family that we have over in a private Facebook group, and we paint at least twice a month. Right now, this right here is part of their files for the month. So they've had all these files, everything that we're painting this month. They've had these since the 2nd. All their files come out on the 2nd. Let's see, we have to shade our chimney too. Y'all don't forget about your chimney. I like to gift them with bonus files or a free template every month or a free tutorial. Let's see, what else do we do? Sometimes they'll get a stencil file that making like porch leaners or makes their life easier, right? So it will also, that Word House will also come with information on the paint studio. So if you want to make one of these, or if you want to get the file for this and become a paint studio member, you can do that as well. Anyone who hops into the paint studio this week and next week, because it will be open between this week and next week, anybody who hops into the paint studio will get the entire bundle for this design immediately. Let's see. We need to shade this bottom part right here. You put a little shadow there because this right here is on a different level. It's closer to our face. The roof is closer to our face. So anything that is closer to our face would actually create a shadow. So we want to simulate that shadow on our design. So there's that right there. Now, I need to do a little touch up in that heart. There's just a couple spots. This blue is a really good blue on when it comes to coverage, but there are a couple spots that my brush would, didn't kind of get in all the grooves of the wood. You've got to remember we're working with wood. It's not 100% flat. So we always want to let things completely dry when it comes to coverage. And make sure that we don't have any like little missing spots or streakiness. That should be good. Let's go ahead and blow dry that because I want to go ahead and shade this and this because those are our last steps. That's it. This is such an easy, like I told you, this is easy peasy. Easy peasy. The easiest part of this whole set. Oh, thank you, Debbie. Let's see. Now you got me singing it. Push it, Melissa. It's going to be stuck in my head. There are worse things to be stuck in my head, though, so I am thankful for that. I have other songs stuck in my head, too. I embarrass my husband sometimes, especially when we're at church. Like, I will just walking down the hall just to be bopping along, and there's no music being played, not one note, nobody, not even the band practicing, nothing. It is in my head. I'm just da 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 da. I just always have something going on up here. If it's not a running list or open commentary or like, don't forget to do this, it's music. It is never quiet up there. I have one kid that I know that he is on I just created a little spot. Just do a little touch up there. ADHD medicine. I don't take any meds for my constant narration that's going on up here. But there's a kid I know that he does. And apparently his meds have been on back order for weeks. And you could tell. Like, you could totally tell. And I was like, one day I saw him and he was just as calm as can be. Totally capable of focusing on all things. Like, just totally different person. And I went up to him and I was like, because he and I talk about it all the time. So it's like, it's something that, it's a welcomed conversation with the two of us. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, is it quiet in your head? What's that like? He goes, it's so nice. It's so nice. I go, I'm so jealous. It's so quiet. Like, what does that feel like? I guess being a mom too, like a lot of times we don't let ourselves have quiet up here because we don't want to forget anything. So I feel like I'm constantly telling myself, don't forget this, don't forget this. Half the time I forget it. So there's that. If anybody needs to feel a little normal on that, you're not the only one, because I'm telling you, I will tell myself 30 times, don't forget to get eggs at the store. Don't forget to get this at the store. It'll even be on the list. And then all of a sudden, poof, it's the only thing. I get $30 worth of a million other things, but I get to the car and all of a sudden, you didn't get the eggs. You went in specifically for the eggs. In church, my daughter would sit beside me and I'd be worshiping, and and my daughter would lean over and say, Mom, you don't sing that good. I don't, I'm not singing to you, boo. I love that. There was one time I normally sit in front because I don't like to be distracted, and I am easily distracted, if you can't tell. I'm easily distracted. And so I normally sit up front. And I mean, like within the first 2 or 3 rows, I am a front row Baptist. And it's not because I want to be closer to anybody in particular. I get distracted. The way our sanctuary is set up is like most sanctuaries is kind of like at angles. Every chair is kind of like at an angle as you go further out to the sides. And I sit in the middle. And so I can see both sides. Even in the first couple of rows, I can see both sides. And like if someone just moves abruptly, I'm like, totally have my attention over there. They don't know that. But like I'm constantly looking off to the side. And so the closer I sit, the less distracted I get. You too? You too. But there was one time I had to sit in the back, because where I sit, they will block off if we have like something special going on, like baby dedication or something like that. And they want all the mamas and babies to sit in the middle so that they're closer to the stage for when they have to go up. And sometimes I have to sit in the back. And I'm telling you, when I sit in the back, I feel like nobody can hear me. And I am just belting those songs out. And there was one lady that physically moved. She had to move. She was like, I'm done with this. I swear she had her phone on record and had it behind, like all of a sudden her phone was behind her back. And I was like, I think she's recording me. And that's when I realized how loud I was. And I was like, I need to just tone it down. But I couldn't. I get so into praise and worship at church. Like it is like, I forget that there's even other people in the room. Like I get so into it. All right. So that's a little dark for me. Okay. I like this over here. That's a little dark for me. So I'm going to spritz it. I'm also going to clean my brush. I'm going to get all that paint off. Okay. Because I want to thin that out. So I'm going to take the paint away in my brush. I'm going to spritz this. Right. And I'm just going to thin this out. Okay. Just push it real good. Just for you, Melissa. That was just for you. Okay. Take my baby wipe. That, or okay, say it's not moving for you, okay? As long as everything else is dry, spritz it. Take a baby wipe and just wipe it off. Nothing is permanent, especially with this technique. Nothing is permanent. My baby wipe is very dry. Like I left them open. I left them wide open and now they're completely dried out. I need to get a whole new pack. I don't even think I can revive them with water like I normally do. Okay, so I wiped it away. There's a little bit of remnants left. I'm just going to reload my brush. Make sure I have a nice damp surface. Oh yeah, much better. Go get the sides of it real good. You want to get the sides. I'm not going to do the top because I'm going to do something else there, okay? We're going to do a little highlight. Make sure you get the side over here. I forgot about that side. Yeah, no, it's my favorite part of service. If I could just have praise and worship, I would go every day. I'd be in that church every day. Like, let's just have some praise and worship, God. It just brings me joy. I almost put that in my drinking water. God thinks you have a beautiful voice. It's a voice only a God can love. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you. He's the only one. But you know what? It's only for him. So it wasn't for her. So the fact that she moved, that's on her. That's on her. Okay. Don't even blame her. She did what she needed to do. She did what she needed to do. All right. So let's add some highlight. We have white on a clean brush, just on the toe. We don't need a lot. You don't want your white to be super, super heavy, okay? Don't need a lot. I'm going to start on the eavesment or the top of my roof here, okay? I'm just going to add a little highlight. Got it in my roof. Got to take that out. All this is doing is brightening up the very edge. It's barely there, okay? It is barely there. You'll be able to see the difference when I finish this side versus it just looks flat on this side. This over here looks like there's like some sunshine just beaming on it. Just a nice little hint. Just a little hint, okay? Same process, just a different color. Where we went darker green, darker pink. All I'd like to do is go with straight white. I like to pick paint colors that are light no matter what. They're already light, so like highlighting with pink, highlighting with white on most of my colors, especially in my spring palette, it's an easy choice. Like I don't have to think too hard about it. I don't have to work or house a bunch of paints over here just for the sake of highlighting. Shading's a different subject, but when it comes to highlighting, if you plan your palette out just right, you can get away with just using white. And I do most of the time. He says, make a joyful noise. Doesn't mean it has to be good and pretty. Doesn't mean it has to be joyful to everybody, just to him. Amen. Amen to that. I feel like, I will never be asked to go sing on stage, but I do feel like it's not an atrocious sound, but I am loud. I mean, you've met me. You've met me. I'm a loud person. So, okie dokie, we're almost finished. I need to do a little something to that heart. We need to shade it, and then I'm going to highlight it as well. We do need to add a little bit of shading. Oh, it's gonna be a beautiful attachment. I feel like it needs some. I feel like it needs a 3D element, and I just don't know what. Maybe some paper flowers or something. I don't know. I really thought about hand painting a flower here and having some vines go up. I need a darker blue. A darker blue. Let's see. If you notice, I just used the side of my paint tray. When I need to ensure that my brush is clean with clean water, when I used to use paint water, I always used like parchment paper or wax paper, or I would use a clean paint tray just to make sure that there was no dirty water in my paintbrush. Well, now that I use my spritzer bottle, I don't really worry about it. I really don't think twice about it because I know that's clean water. Now, if my brush gets contaminated by me accidentally putting it down the wrong direction, like the heel of my brush going where the toe of my brush needs to go, then I'll just clean my brush out and start over. Okay. There we go. As I get to the upper part of my heart, I just kind of lessen how wide, instead of being wide like this, I start turning my brush like this and pulling it like this so that I get a thinner line. Let me show you. See how much thinner that is? That is with my brush wide. Okay, like it's real wide right here. As I came up like this, I started pulling my brush almost on the chisel and outlining the heart itself. If you're wondering how I got that look. A flower in the top with the vines around the hanging down. Oh, that would be cute. That'd be a lot like, do we have it over? Oh, that would be a lot like our birdhouse that we did in the studio this month. So this is what we painted in the studio while that dries. I'll show you in just a minute. I know Sheila already knows what I'm talking about, but I'll show people who may not be in the studio to kind of give an idea of what, some projects that we do. We always paint a door hanger. We always paint up into smaller projects, usually a garland and an attachment size. But you get the JPEGs to everything that we paint, so you can resize them to whatever project size you want. You can resize everything to a door hanger if you want to paint everything in a door hanger size. Say you like to paint ornaments, you can resize it to an ornament size. There we go. Look how fun. It's going to look even better once it's dry. I can hear my dog snoring over there and the wind chimes outside. He is just comfy cozy over on that couch, just snoring away. I don't see how with me over here talking as loud as I am. Okay, let's do some highlight. Let's do some highlight, and then I'll show you my little studio designs from our paint studio from this month. They turned out so good. They're some of our favorites, and I'm speaking for everybody. We all loved them just because they pop. And then my kids had to go and ruin it for me. Not really, but they both were like, "Is that Mardi Gras?" And I'm like, "No, it's not Mardi Gras. It's spring." All right, so I'm just taking my white and I'm just putting a little glare. Just a little glare. That gives me just a little bit of highlight. I love it. I'm going to leave it alone. Let it dry. Okay, so while that's drying, let me show y'all Paint Studio from this month. Okay, so we painted flowers for our garland. So our flowers, they're just messy painted flowers. Okay, and then we'll string those up and make a garland out of them. And then we painted a birdhouse, very similar, painted a birdhouse. Like I said, earlier I said something about a birdhouse, and I was getting mixed up with what we painted in studio. So we painted a birdhouse, super pretty, incorporated that flower into the garland, right? So it all coordinates. They don't have to go together, but they totally make a full set. All right, so that was our door. That was our attachment and our garland, but you can make any of those into a full door hanger size if you want to. Oh, but the door hanger has my heart. Y'all prepare yourself. Oh my gosh. The door hanger has my heart. Look at that. And this is where my kids were like, "Is it Mardi Gras?" No, it's not Mardi Gras. And then I looked, and then my son was like, "Mom, look, green, purple, and gold." And I was like, why do y'all ruin this for me? Like, that was spring to me, and now all I see is Mardi Gras. But I feel like it's absolutely beautiful. Like, I feel like if you have we did black, and there's like a linen, like you really can't see it because of the glare on the camera. But in person, let me see if I can get it. In person, there's like look at the black. Let me see if I can get it without the glare. The glare from the light is going to just ruin the effect. Okay, here you can kind of see it without the glare. Right? Let me get my Vanna White skills. There. You see that? You kind of get an idea. In person, it's way more noticeable. but it looks like linen. Like it looks like the texture of linen. But that was what we painted this past month. The month before, here's our attachment. It was a rainbow. And then we painted a different style flower for the garland. There's not always flowers, I promise. And then we had a big bouquet of flowers inside of a wooden crate, and we learned how to make kind of realistic looking wood, like pallet wood, without having any tools. Absolutely no tools. It was all done with paint, water, and just a little bit of strategic placement. It was really cool. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. Thank you, Valerie. These are some of my favorite designs so far. This year's designs so far have been some of my favorites. So, and I've already got the next 3 months planned out for studio as far as designs go. I plan 3 months at a time. So I kind of have an idea so that I can do like extra bonus tutorials, or make sure that I have like the opportunity to throw a free template in there. Anything I get free outside the studio normally gets first. Like they've already had access to it. Or a lot of times it's just exclusive. Most of my freebies, most of them are studio exclusives because I love to spoil them. I loved it. And this past year, I feel like this year I'm making up for lost ground, because last year with taking care of my parents, I feel like this year I really need to make up some ground here, because I didn't get to spoil as much as I wanted to last year. But this year, I've already got so many plans. I'm just so pumped about it. Okay, so I don't want to do a flower up here, and I'll tell you why. It's a good idea, Sheila, because it'll be too matchy-matchy to our birdhouse. I think I want to do 3D elements, which means I need to go to Hobby Lobby. I think I want to do actual paper flowers here, and then I can do some hand scrolly vines. I'm thinking about, let me think on that. I'll update you. For right now, I'm going to live and look at this and let it dry and see where I want to go with it. But I think I'm going to take this to Hobby Lobby. I'm going to look at paper flowers. I love paper flowers. I feel like for smaller pieces like ornaments, garlands, attachments, all your smaller pieces, if you want to have a 3D piece that's not wood, like you could totally cut out 3D words or something like that. But if you want something a little extra that gives it some dimension, hot glue some paper flowers to it, and it really spices it up real good. Okay, so I'm going to take an Expo marker, and I'm just going to clean up my edges. Okay. Expo marker is technically a permanent marker that will wipe off on shiny surfaces. Well, this is not a shiny surface, so it will be a permanent marker. And it just cleans up those edges. Now, does it cover up the paint 100%? No. To get that to happen, you need to go over it at least twice. But it takes away the messiness. Like, look at this compared to that. That looks clean. That looks a hot mess. So I'm going to just clean that up. I'm going to go all the way around. I've already done my door hanger. I did that off camera because I kind of forgot to show y'all that. This is one of those tips or tricks that I usually show with I've shared with my studio. You can use furniture stain pens, which is what I've used for years and years and years. Those have just gotten expensive. And the ones at the Dollar Tree, they've changed the formula and they don't last as long. So I've discovered that, just the chisel tip dry erase low odor, the ones that you can get on super duper sale after school supply season. Like I bought a whole 5-pack of these, and these will last me all year. One 5-pack will last me a whole year. And I got it for $2 for an entire year's worth of cleaning up my edges. Now that looks like faux. Like if you don't have laser cut pieces, that right there gives you the faux laser edge. So if that's a look that you like, or if you don't want to have to go with a flat brush like this, and just go all the way around. Just whip out that chisel expo marker and just clean those edges up in a hot second. And if you have to do a second pass, it's still faster than going you know? All right. Well, that is our first bonus tutorial for our free virtual paint party. Like I said, put the word house down in the comments to get this free design and the supply list and any link to anything that we talked about today. You just scroll through the buffet of links that I'm going to give you and pick the one that you were looking for. It'll contain a link to our spray bottle that I like to use. Like I said, it'll have a link to where you can get this design for free. It comes with the JPEG printable template and the PNG mock-up so that you have a color mock-up. It also comes with the supply list so that you have everything you need to start making your own project. It also comes with a link to where if you would much prefer get the wooden blank for this, you can order that wooden blank from 4 inches to 24 inches, etched or unetched, however you fancy. But like I said, you also get this supply list and you get information on the paint studio, which is where all the designs that for our bonus tutorials are going to be housed for my paint studio members. It'll give you more information on that as well. Until Friday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. Y'all don't forget, come hang out with me on your lunch break. I'll see you then. Bye.